these questions because the conversation around the world right now is toxic masculinity. And you are so open and so lovely. I'm just trying to get to the bottom of how this happened.
I don't know. You know, it's interesting where I think there is a lot of pressure in society for men to live up to a certain expectation. And I think one of the great things we've seen with movements like Me Too or just this awareness, the rise of feminism and empowerment, we're seeing people should just feel comfortable being themselves. You don't have to live up to any role models. You don't have to live up to any stereotypes. What you need to do is find out who you really are. And that's a journey that not a lot of people are willing to take. And I obviously you, and I feel like that's one of the things that I've been fortunate in my life was to really have the opportunity to find something I love to do. And the reason I did that was, again, because I had parents who supported me every step of the way.
Yeah, yeah. Now, I know that your father is a doctor, and that you followed in his footsteps to become a doctor. You went all the way through medical school.
Yes.
And then decided, I want to become a comic.
Yeah. Now, parents may not be excited about that part. You know, it was one of the things, this is, again, on paper, being a doctor was the perfect job. I loved science. I loved helping people. It felt perfect. But you realize you don't live your life on paper. And when I actually got into medicine, I realized my heart wasn't in it. And that was the hardest thing because I knew I wasn't doing myself a service, I wasn't doing my patients a service. And I honestly felt like a bit of a fraud, that I was going in there trying to be something that I knew in my heart I wasn't. And so the hardest thing for me, the hardest thing I've done in my life was not only to accept that, but then to have to tell my parents that. Because my dad being a doctor, I knew how proud he was and I was terrified of what their reaction would be. And when I told him, I'm quitting medicine to do stand-up. Right. To my dad's everlasting credit, the first thing he said was, life is short, do what makes you happy. And that's the best advice I've ever gotten in my life.
It really, really is.
It's the hardest thing to do. I know there are people out there who feel trapped by circumstance, but let me tell you, if you take a swing, if you do what you love, the worst thing that can happen is you get a great story out of it, but you learn so much, I think, when you really follow your heart.
That's right. You're absolutely right. It's all about a balance. It's about having an intellectual idea of what you want to do, but also combining that with your personal GPS system that lives inside of you, your intuition, you know, and then, but you had to go all that way through medical school. Couldn't you go in your second year?
But that would have been a lot smarter and a lot cheaper.
Yes.